Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Through the Curtain. We are joined this evening by Erica Leigh. Thanks for coming out tonight and joining us. As usual, I'm your host, Tommy T. I'm here with Double K, and behind the scenes is Smokey Z. So we'll go ahead and get started tonight and just kind of give us a brief rundown of what's your career been like in the wrestling business so far.
Easy question with a short answer. So I started training in September of 2017.
Okay.
Trained for a year and a month, almost exactly to the day, and then got injured, so I've been out for the past 6 months. So a year and a half, and half of it is on
injury.
The shelf. Yeah. So,
right.
But I started training in September of 2017, and then March 31st of 2018, I had my debut match at CPW at Classic Pro. So not a ton of time in between first bump and the first match, but I was in there with great people, Chris Sharp and Jordan Blade, so it was easy. I mean, the easiest first match you could ever have. They were great, fans were great, it was a great atmosphere, and downhill from there, pretty much. No, but it was a really cool first match to have, because not a lot of people have like a good experience at first match. Not a lot of people have like great crowd engagement or like a great referee or a great opponent or all of those things, which I did have. So I felt really lucky. And pretty much every match after that was trying to keep up that same level of entertainment and performance and professionalism. Didn't succeed every time, but you set the bar so high. So I worked as Emma Lou, mostly at Classic Pro, once in West Virginia, and then I think a couple times up at Nova Pro, and then I worked same name but different gimmick at Fury Pro and again at Nova Pro. Which was more like a pop punk heel, because I was tagging with Jordan Blade. So gimmick-wise, nothing super concrete. The Emma Lou character was pretty far from my natural personality and like has nothing to do with anything that I ever grew up with or have been interested in. It was like country gal, southern roots, very yeehaw.
I would agree.
Absolutely nothing to do with me, and I didn't really relate to it, but I had an awesome time doing it, because it was kind of like putting on a mask. It was kind of like, all right, well, this is as far as you can get from my real personality, so I really don't care if people like it or not. Like it's not going to offend me if people don't like it, because it's not me.
Right.
So it was really freeing in that way, to be a gimmick that was so far from my real personality, but at the same time, it was hard to connect with, hard to relate to, and sometimes made me feel like I was patronizing people a little bit.
Okay.
Which didn't make me feel super comfortable.
Sense.
Yeah, like I would have little old ladies like hugging me and saying thank you so much at the end of a show, and I'd be like, oh. I'm like mocking you. Like, I feel uncomfortable. But I wasn't intentionally mocking anybody, so I don't know, intent versus impact. Mm-hmm. You can argue that one all day.
Yes, that's true.
But yeah, after I got injured in October, I made the decision, like, okay, when I come back, I'm going to have, a new gimmick that is going to be more me, more relatable, more personal. So, not Emma Lou. So I picked a new name, new gimmick, new everything. And I was like, I'm going to come back with something fresh and something different and something that I can have a little bit more fun with and a little bit more, personal attachment to.
Nice. So in all that, what was it that really inspired you and made you want to be in professional wrestling?
Again, short answer. A lot of people will say, like, oh, I've been watching it since I was 7 years old. My grandma got me into it. I've been watching it so long, and I always knew. I did not watch professional wrestling as a child. I started watching professional wrestling in the year 2015.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which, good, bad, whatever, that's when I was introduced to it, and I fell in love with it almost instantly.
Was there like a moment when you were introduced, or something you saw, or a performer you saw?
I remember distinctly the moment that I was like, oh, I get it. I like this. It's the tiniest thing. But Jerry Lawler was on commentary. It was like a Monday Night Raw, and he like yelped. He was like, ow, or whatever. Like he makes those like high-pitched noises. And I was like, oh my God. It's self-aware. Oh, they're making fun of themselves. Like it's funny. Like I get it. Like I was over the moon about it. I just like, whatever that did, it was like, in my mind, just everything clicked. I was like, oh, I love it. Like, just from then on out, I was like, this is it. This is like the best.
I was really concerned that when you started the Jerry Lawler story there, that you were going to reference the time he died on national television. So
that's kind of where I thought it was headed to. I was like, oh no.
No.
Yeah.
Like, how do we stop this answer right now?
Right, and redirect. But that's definitely where I thought it was going.
No.
So you mentioned that your career has been relatively short recently, and some of that being because of the injury that you sustained. Mm-hmm. So the last time that we saw you perform was as the Emma Lou character, and it was the night that you lost the CPW Women's Championship.
Which time?
Sorry.
I
think it was the last time that you lost it.
Well played. Well played.
So the question I have for you is that clearly there's been a transition for you since then. How did the injury lead to that, or was that even part of the decision-making process when you decided that, hey, this isn't what I want to do anymore?
I knew that I wasn't always going to want to be Emma Lou. In my mind, when I started with that gimmick, I was like, I mean, I'll probably only work at CPW for now, and no one else is even going to see it, and I will have no problem changing gimmicks. And then I made myself an Instagram, and then I made myself a Facebook, and it was just like, Emma Lou kind of got a little bit more traction than I thought it would. And I started seeing like the walls closing a little bit. I was like, oh, it's getting harder and harder to like get away from this, and like killing any momentum that I have by just like changing my name and changing the look and like losing people that are interested in me. It was a little scary to me. So when I got injured, I was like, well, I'm out now. Like I might as people are gonna
time like now to change it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go away. I might lose, people's interest. I might lose fans. I might lose whatever tiny little bit of momentum I was getting. But that was the time. Like I couldn't pick a better time if I had to be injured. If I had to be taking a step back from it, if I had to be putting a pause on what I was doing, I couldn't pick a better time to transition away from one gimmick and into another. Just logistically like the most practical thing to do.
So let's talk about this for a second. The new gimmick, in comparison to the old gimmick, more modern, still not 100% modern.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So what led you in that direction? You talked about how it was more closely relatable for you.
Yeah.
But what made you settle on, not only do I want to change my gimmick, but I want to change my name. I want a new personality to do this.
I wanted to be further away from my real name.
Okay.
So Emma Lou is a little bit too close to my real name, and I wanted to get a little bit more differentiation there. Because I am a really private person, and I noticed like my private Facebook was getting a lot of like friend requests, and I was like, there's got to be some way to like, get a little bit further away. Yeah. Which like, it's cool that people want to get to know me, and it's cool that people want to reach out and keep up with me, but I'm trying to like redirect, like,
sure, that's fair.
This one's where I put my political beliefs that I'm sure you don't want to hear, like, because it's not real close to what you think Emma Lou wants.
Right.
But I just wanted something different, more different than my given name.
Okay.
And then just the gimmick was just something that I thought would be fun. Like I have a lot of fashion inspirations from the 90s. And I do feel like a big kid sometimes. Like, I grew up in the 90s, so it kind of makes sense for me. And I know that everybody loves nostalgia. Like, you can't swing a dead cat and not hit something like that's hitting on, oh, only 90s kids know, like, you know, those things on Facebook that are like, 90s kids, like, where you at? Like, you'll know what I'm talking about. Share if you remember these or whatever. Like, the top 10 cartoons from your youth. It's like everybody wants to go back to being a kid, and I'm no exception. So I just thought, why not run with that?
Okay.
Nice.
I'm
nice.
I'm not sure why we're swinging dead cats, but
That's the Emmylou coming out of it. You can't swing a dead cat around here without finding out.
Fair. All right.
Which is another thing that Timmy Danger told me never to do.
Swing a dead cat?
Swing a dead cat and do an accent in a promo.
You know what?
I did a hard commit my first night out.
He's right. Good call. Good call.
yeah, I'm not sure that he has really any criticism to give you, though, because if you watch Timmy's facial expressions when he's giving a promo, I'm not sure if sometimes he's constipated or he's excited. So... But,
Timmy Danger, where you at? You gonna take that? You gonna take that? Come on down here.
Open challenge.
Yeah, open challenge.
So, you've had a lot of obstacles already in a really short period of time. You know, in a relatively short career. If you had to number them, what do you think is the largest obstacle that you've faced so far? Or what is the largest obstacle that you think you could face later?
I mean, I feel like everyone's largest obstacle is themselves, right? Like, my biggest obstacle is me. My headspace, my dedication, my drive, my work ethic. Like, it's all on me. I don't believe there's any force out there greater than my own intent. If I want it, I'll get it. Right?
That's a good way to be.
Absolutely.
I mean, I get in my head a lot. I have mad anxiety. Like, there are days that you can't get me out of the house for anything. But if it's a training day, it's a training day. So I missed one. I missed one because of an anxiety attack. But, yeah, I think me. It's just me. I am my own biggest obstacle. So.
Well, it's nice to hear your commitment to training, because we're familiar with some folks that want to be in a ring, but they don't ever show up to training. So
Yeah, and that's, I mean, if you can succeed without going to training, God bless.
right.
Go for it. I want to see it.
How often does that happen, though?
And but no, I mean, I've definitely missed more than one training session in my
Sure,
year and a half.
sure.
For sure. Just to make that clear, I don't want anyone coming after me like, well, you didn't come on this time. No, I have.
You know, right now
missed
somebody's
more than
sitting at
one.
home with
Yeah.
a pen and paper,
But
writing this down.
due to my own mind, I have missed one. But yeah, you have to be dedicated. You have to get the reps in. You have to do it over and over and over again. Especially, like, I'm not a naturally very coordinated person, so
I know all about that.
I don't know how I'm ever going to look coordinated if I don't practice.
We know what that looks like.
Yeah. It's a walking accident. That's what that is.
I've got good hand-eye, but I don't ever look like I'm doing anything with purpose. It's amazing. It's a talent.
That is a talent, actually.
Yeah, I'd at least, mine are just chaos in motion. That's really all it is. So
We need a whole new 45 minutes to discuss that.
Okay.
That's very true. So, given your obstacle being yourself, what do you think is the attribute that you offer most to the business versus what you think is your worst attribute?
I think it sounds a little like, it always sounds weird talking about myself positively, which is another habit I'm trying to break. But I think charisma and like promo skills, that's definitely been a strength of mine. Not that I can't still work on them, but it's definitely a strength. And like I said, if you're not going to look coordinated like me, you better offer something else. So it's a good thing I can talk. But yeah, and then my biggest obstacle is just getting into shape so I look like a wrestler. Like, I do have to wrestle well.
Did you hear that, Timmy Danger?
Oh, picking on Timmy. Picking on Timmy. He's not even here.
I love the guy.
But yeah, getting in shape so I look the part. Because, I mean, it's a business based on looks.
It is.
100%.
Yeah.
Or 99%. You know, if you can be the exception to the rule, go ahead. But
Kevin Owens.
there you go. Right.
I mean, there's a list of them.
Yeah.
There's a list of them. There was nothing physically fit about Yokozuna. I'm just saying.
But also, I mean, so yeah, you might not say physically fit, but like physically imposing, right?
Oh, that's true.
Like,
That's true.
Like
100%.
Intimidating. I
Yeah.
am neither imposing nor intimidating. I'm not like I would love to be, you know. So that's where the work comes in, right?
Okay.
So
All right.
my biggest obstacle is just getting like my wrestling skills up to snuff. Like number one bullet point, next paragraph, same thing. Wrestling skills, and also like in my personal life, getting into the gym and getting bigger and stronger and looking the part. So,
Okay. So, how often with your injury have you been able to actually get to a gym and actually work on that?
so I was in a boot for a month, and during that time, I didn't get to the gym probably as much as I could have, but I also work on my feet all day. So I was in this weird limbo position where like doctors were telling me like you need to rest as much as possible. Then physical therapists were like, well, you still can move it, but like, you know, if you're tired, be careful. And I'm like, well, I spend like 9 hours on my feet every day. So yeah, I'm tired by the time I get done. Like, I don't know, like, and then also just being nervous to re-injure it. I was like, I don't know how much I can push myself, and I'm not going to pay to see a physical therapist every day.
Right.
Like, it's just not going to happen.
Sure.
You know, eating food prohibits that. Like, like a grocery budget.
I mean, those are small details.
Yeah, right.
Come on.
Roof over my head and stuff like that.
That's overrated.
But yeah, I probably worked out like 3 times a week after I was like upright. And maybe not in the gym, but definitely got something in. Even if I was still in the boot, I would definitely get something in. But like I said, I didn't know how much I could be moving it, and I would get home and just be like, it's toast. Like, it's just not going to do anything. Like, I like go up the stairs of my house and be like, oh, like almost fall over. I'm like, all right, like I need to sit down. But yeah, probably like 3 times a week. Which when I was healthy, I was always shooting for 3 to 5. Jordan Blaze didn't call me out on that one. but yeah, probably 3 times a week when I was like not upright still. So.
Okay. So, you know, throughout long careers, you know, people who do this for a long time, that commitment level has to be there. Nonstop,
100%.
all the time, 100% to every single aspect of it. So, from when you first started, okay, when you first decided I want to do this, till now, you know, trying to get back into the swing of things, where do you feel your commitment level is now compared to when you first started?
I mean, I'd say it's probably at the same point. I have like different goals in mind and different expectations for myself with more experience. Like, you're always going to be moving the goalpost. I mean, you should be, in my mind. But I'd say my commitment level is the same. I definitely go through dips where, like, if I'm, like, watching so much of one type of wrestling, all of a sudden I'm like, I'm going to tear my hair out if I watch another SmackDown from 2002. You know what I mean? Like, or you know.
That was the time to watch it.
That's true.
Some may say, I don't know. But if I keep watching, you know, like Akira Hokuto, like I'm gonna have to turn the TV off. Like I can't keep watching one thing over and over again. So I think studying is hard. Just because I get so, like, single-minded about stuff. Like, I'll listen, like, with music, too. Like, I'll listen to one album on loop over and over and over and over again until I'm sick of it. So I do the same thing with wrestling, where I'm like, oh, I want to watch, like, this year, or, like, this person or whatever, and then I get sick of it. And so I think that part plays into, like, what I feel is commitment, because I'm like, you should be going home and studying, you should watch, you know, X amount of hours every week of new stuff and old stuff, and like, all these things that I've heard make you successful, make you a better wrestler, and I'll, like, try to do it. Then I'm like, oh, like I can't watch any more of this. So I gotta like make myself a better schedule of like what and who to watch and all that. But I think the commitment's still there. I think it goes through different. What it looks different. What it looks like to me looks different from month to month. But I think the level personally for me is still there overall. I think it's at the same spot from where I started. It's just something I'm passionate about, something I care about, something I want to get into, and I always want to get better. And I mean, most of the day I think about it. Then I get in a ring and I'm like blank. but that I hear that'll go away. I hear the ring rust will shake off soon.
Oh yeah. Again, kind of in the commitment realm here, switching from Emma to Erica, completely different gimmicks. Are you working on new moveset? Is it going to be sort of the same moveset in the ring?
No, yeah, definitely. I want to incorporate a different moveset. I don't think Emma Lou had too much concrete. I mean, you definitely saw like the knee and the bulldog every match. But yeah, I think Erica is going to have some tweaks.
Okay.
Some tweaks.
It's good to see.
There.
It's good to see fresh content.
Yes. And I'm also of the mindset where, like, if you're not adding things that you can do, if you're not adding things you can bring to the table, what are you working on?
Well, I mean, that's character development. We talk about that a lot. So, yeah, I mean, you have to evolve, you have to grow, and the only way to do that is not just switching names and wardrobes.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to do it in the ring, too. So.
Right. If she doesn't feel any different.
Then it's just the same
It's
character.
the
With,
same,
yeah,
it's the same character with a different name.
Right.
So if I still grab onto someone's head for a bulldog and go, woo-wee, like, how's it different?
Look, I'm not going to lie. I just, Toy Story, Woody, it just all flashed through when you did that.
Hey, that's good. That's good. I feel like
Timmy would call that branding.
Yeah, absolutely.
So...
Is that a dig? Was that another dig?
No, it wasn't a dig at him. We actually talked, and I shared with him that the first time I ever saw him, I remember.
I listened to his episode, yeah.
I remember the match, and I remember looking at him at some point, and I said, if this guy yells silencer one more time, I'm going to lose my mind. And and then Timmy was like, that's called branding. Got it. I've been corrected.
Love him.
So I want to talk a little bit about, you mentioned that you, for the most part, live a very private life. That's very difficult to do as someone who's in the wrestling business.
Yeah.
And in fact, we've seen it, even on the main roster side of WWE, where that's been an unfortunate circumstance for a lot of females. And even most recently for you, you've had to endure some unpleasantries on social media. So talk to me a little bit about, like, how do you cope with that? How do you deal with it, being someone who wants to try to keep everything private?
I mean, it's hard. I stopped accepting friend requests for a long time because I just couldn't deal with, like, the influx. Every time I would go, on my day off, I would, like, go through friend requests. I would have, like, hundreds of friend requests. And I was like, I don't know who wants to be my friend. Who is this? Okay. Just yes. And I would go to a couple and be like, oh, no. Like, I would see, like, whatever would pop up on my feed and be like, oh, I don't want that. No. It's how I would go through and delete. But then I would get into my messages and I was like, oh, wow. I don't think I want to ever accept another friend request. Like, you're going to need
that bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I had a Facebook for, like, 3 days before I got, like, propositioned.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, I know that you guys, like, think that you get it, but you don't. You can't imagine. It's constant.
Well, and that's why,
Absolutely
that was one of the
constant.
reasons why I asked, because I'm not a female. I don't,
Right.
we don't get it on the same side that you guys do.
Yeah, but I feel like guys always like to make that same joke. We're like, oh, guys being creeps, this, like, oh, that's, we see it all the time, like, typical, or whatever. Like, oh, I'll never get guys like that. But, whew, it's another level. And I feel like more than pointing it out to me or, like, asking me, like, what's that like or how hard is it to cope with, like, just confronting people, like, dudes on the internet or dudes in real life and being like, yo, why'd you say that? or like, that's not cool. Like,
Right.
hey, that's messed up. Or like, hey, you're being a creep. That to me is more helpful than asking me, like, how hard is it to be like constantly harassed? Like,
Sure.
I know you don't have a creep on your show right now, so it's kind of hard to do. But it's kind of the same spiel that I give everybody. Like, I'll get messages from my friends that are like, man, that was gross. And I'm like, yeah. You commented on that same picture and you could have said something.
But they chose not to.
Right. Or I'll be in situations in, you know, like a locker room type setting and someone will say something and I'm like, skirt, excuse me. And everybody kind of lets me, like, fend for myself, which, okay, like, sometimes I don't mind doing it,
Right.
but at the same time, it's like, if you come up to me afterwards and say, like, hey, like, I just want to apologize for my buddy, like, you know, he's an idiot. It's like, well, why didn't you tell him he's an idiot to his face when he was talking to me? Why
Right.
don't you say it then? Because I feel like that's more helpful than coming up to me without him around and saying, like, oh, sorry about him, like...
Well, it's,
that's the Hail Mary after you know
Right.
you have allowed your buddy to completely screw it up.
Right, you're trying to, like, save face
You're
at
trying
that
to save
point.
your face.
But
Yeah.
guess what? He ain't saving anything. We know. We don't forget. But yeah, I mean, it's tough. And like I said, I stopped accepting friend requests for a long time because I was just like, I can't deal with y'all.
Well, I'm not even going to pretend like I could imagine to go through what you guys go through.
It's weird. It's weird. Like, I got one on my way over here that was like, hey, you single? And I was just like, it's like a weird way to start a conversation. Like, I don't know what you want to do with the information. Like, if you get it. Like, if I'm like, yeah, baby. Totally. Looking for someone just your type. Like, what are you even going to do? Are you going to come to my house? No. What, like, you going to cyber?
It's
What
a
year
valid-
is it?
that's
You know,
He's probably going to drop his phone or wreck his car. What?
She just said, "Are you gonna cyber? What year is it?"
But for real, like, I just don't know what they want to get out of it. It's a little strange to me. But yeah, so my coping mechanism now is kind of just poking fun at it and, like, screenshotting it and just being like, don't do this.
Which I think
please.
that's great. Because one, it's not you telling a story. It's you showing them what that person did.
Right.
Which is completely different than saying, hey, do you know what this guy said to me? Mm-hmm. You know,
Yeah.
to screenshot it and put it out there, that's a very different...
Here are your words.
Right,
Read them.
exactly.
Yeah. Does it sound weird if you read it out loud? Try that. Yeah. But I don't know what it was about that one. Like, I just... It wasn't particularly bad. I just kind of screenshot it and was like, I'm done today. Today I'm done. I don't know what it is about you, your face, your comment, whatever it was, like, set me off. So I just decided to do it, and now I feel like I'll probably do that more often because it was fun, and it was kind of cathartic, and it was, like, you know.
I was going to ask, like, how often do you just have fun with them and play around a little bit?
Never.
Yeah.
Never. I have thought about the idea of just sending in response, like, my PayPal information. And just being like, well, I'm not saying you're going to get anything here, but throw a $1 at me. Who knows?
If you want to make a donation...
Yeah, who knows?
Right.
$20, let's see. No, I've never...
Tank
I've,
of
I
gas.
don't, I've never engaged in any way other than, like, if they just said, hey, I'd be like, hi. Like, thanks for being a fan. Like, thanks for supporting pro wrestling or independent wrestling. Like, that's what I would say. I would be, like, mad professional about it. I'd be like, thank you for supporting your independent local wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it would, like, just spiral real quick, and I'm like, okay. Like, every time. Or they'd be real sneaky about it and, like, check in with me, like, every week and be like, you know, how's it going? You know, how's the wrestling going? And be, like, super above board the whole time. And I'm just like, cool. Like, someone who's just a fan. They're not a creep. They just like wrestling. They think I'm good at it. Wow. And then, like, a month, 2 months, 3 months later, they'd be like, hey, so, like, you know, can I buy some used knee pads? Or...
Have you actually gotten that question?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Or, if I, like, come visit, can I stay with you?
Really?
Really.
So someone you've never met before.
Never met them before. And I thought it was, like, a fun, like, checking in with them, seeing how they're doing. It's, like, a real, almost friendship where, like, they're supporting like the craft and the
Right.
business and
Right.
the scene and me. And then that. And I was like, it was the long con. You got me. Like,
We almost had it.
and then I say no, and then I never hear from them again.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
That's so
Or
sad.
the, how can I support you as an independent wrestler? And I'm like, great, I have 8x10s for sale, I have merch, like, this, that, and the other thing, like, let me know. And they go, do you do customs? And I say, no, but I have all these 8x10s for sale, and I have all this merch, and just, like, let me know what size shirt you want. And then I never hear from them again. So, thanks for supporting your local wrestler in the way that you want. Yeah.
At least in their mind, that might be what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, they are
There's
offering
no
to
way.
pay for something that they want, and I'm saying no, and then that's the end of it.
It's fair.
So
Fair.
I say, do you want to buy a t-shirt? And they say no, and that's the end of it.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, why not?
So, complete and total shift of gears.
Please and thank you.
Going the other way now. So we know the promotions that you have wrestled for. Are there any that you would like to wrestle for in the future? Is there a goal organization? Is there somewhere you would want to be? Not WWE.
I wouldn't say that. I'm not sit up here and say that to y'all.
Some people do.
Yeah,
Some
and
people
if-
do say
hey,
that to
if
us.
they're at the point where they can say that, that's great. But I'm just like nowhere near.
So where would you want to go?
My goal for this year is to just branch out a little bit more into the Northeast and the Midwest. I'd love to go up to Philly and work for Chikara. I'd love to go to Chicago and work for Zelo Pro. I actually don't know how to say it because I've only ever read it. So we could get a Google on that one, guys.
We will have our crack staff look that up real quickly.
What? I believe, listeners, that was an inside joke.
So
Maybe.
Yeah, but definitely the Northeast and the Midwest are where I want to branch out into this year.
now, are you going to plan on carrying the same Erica Leigh character, or are you going to look at tweaking it like you did the Emma Lou character, where you switched a little bit when you were teaming with Jordan Blade?
I want to nail down something more consistent and something more reliable and something more recognizable, where you see me and you know what you're going to get, or you at least want more of it. Yeah, hopefully I can tweak along the way to find what fits and what's right, and then keep that going. I mean, if it fails miserably, I hope I don't keep doing it. If I get no pop, I hope I don't keep trying. Please stop me.
As Timmy would say, you need to leave the party while there's still girls there.
Yeah, I liked that one. I was like,
That was good.
makes sense.
That's good. Sorry, I'm still stuck on Timmy's comment, but so how do you go about getting yourself booked? Like, we're talking about all these other places you would want to go. Well, how do you go? How do you go about getting yourself booked? I mean, do you just call and ask? Do you?
I've never called and asked. No.
Hey, can I get on your show?
Ring.
Hey,
From like a wall phone with a massive
never know.
cord. I found your number in the phone book.
I think Tommy T still has one of those in the kitchen.
That's not
I
funny.
wanted one. I wanted one, and my partner said no. So let's get a landline. It'll be fun. Absolutely, the hard no. Oh well, I'm trying to live the gimmick,
Fair enough.
Get one of those rotary dial phones.
It takes you
Yeah.
10 minutes just to dial the number.
Yeah,
Yep, that one.
Yeah.
that's exactly it.
How do I get booked? Hopping in the car, going to a new promotion, making myself useful. Hopefully they like my attitude. But also Facebook has been great for that. Getting in touch with promoters. If you put up content and they can see a video of what you can do, can see you present yourself professionally. They might reach out. So Facebook's been awesome just to get into different spots. But yeah, Nova Pro was a really kind of lucky transition because Jordan Blade and I were working up at, it was a classic pro show up at Gale Middle School. And the booker from Nova Pro came down to watch, and he liked us, asked if we would do a tag match for him. So that was great. I mean, that was luck. You know, like, that's... Mm-hmm. You can't call up a promoter and be like, hey, can you come, like, watch my match at this other promotion? Like, you come, like, see if you can use me.
Leave you some tickets at the door.
Yeah, so that was cool. But yeah, just showing up and putting in the time and being available to work and work might be set out chairs. So
right.
Been riding. I've been managing while I was injured. I've been managing the main attraction, Bo Crockett, Jake Hollister, and Paul Jourdain. So I've been riding down to NEW in Elizabeth City. So getting my foot in the door there, meeting the promoter there, and just being useful, whatever I can do to help set up the ring, help set up chairs. I'm out there for their match, doing manager stuff then, so try to make myself useful in whatever aspect I can be, and hopefully that leads to something else. But if it doesn't, you know, I'll do the work that I can do, you know, like...
Yeah.
If I never get booked on a show and I'm still managing them, I'm not going to be salty about it. You know, like there's no need to, I mean, at this point in my career, I'm happy to be there. You know what I mean? Like
right. I get it.
I'm happy to be anywhere you let me be in front of fans. So thanks.
Right.
But yeah, just go out there and get in a car with a buddy. Or not. If no one's going, you go solo. And just show up and set out chairs and be useful.
Yeah, we've as we're continuing to partner with more and more of the promotions, we're going to be getting to venues earlier. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we've committed to is, you know, they'll give us our seats for the show, and it's we don't want you to give us our seats because we still want to support you guys.
Yeah, that's great.
So, you know, we still make it a point to pay for our tickets even if the promotion doesn't charge us.
Yeah.
And that's all in an effort to further support you guys because it's not something that, I know you guys don't get paid a ton of money to do what you do, but you do spend a lot of money to try to get to where you want to go and to do what you do. And so that's the least that I think any fan can do is at least show up, put their tail in a seat, and pay for a ticket.
Yeah.
And then the merchandise and all the other parts that come with that. So as we're wrapping up here in our final few minutes of the show, what do you want people to take from this show about Erica Leigh?
That's such a big one. Final question.
Yes.
It wasn't like a softball, you know?
No.
No short question, short answer. This is it right here.
That's right.
The meat and potatoes.
This is it.
Erica Leigh is someone you're just gonna have to see in action. You know?
Okay.
She's working on she got a lot of tricks up her sleeve, you know? She's working on some big stuff, but
Are you actually wearing sleeves in your new outfit? Or
that was a quick preview.
Yeah.
Quick preview if you didn't catch that.
This is what's happening. Sonic Youth. But no, I haven't worked the gimmick yet, right?
Okay.
So I can't really tell you what to expect or what to take away from it because as much as I have an idea of how she's gonna play, this might be too honest, huh? Like, I don't know how the crowd's going to react to her, you know?
I mean, that's fair, since you haven't done it
Yeah.
yet.
Right,
I mean,
so if I get out there and this is all the things that I want you to take from her and no one's grabbing it, I'm going to change that answer real quick.
I think that's a fair response.
So we'll have to wait and see what the expectations are.
So do you have a debut date and location for Erica Leigh?
Not yet. Not yet. No, Erica Leigh is not currently booked for anything. I am managing like I said, the main attraction. So I will be at Infinite Pro in Ohio on Saturday, the 9th. So you can come see me yell and get in your face and point my fingers and yeah, hype up my boys. But singles competition, tag team competition, no bookings currently.
Okay.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
Coming
yeah.
soon.
TBD.
Well, listen, Erica, I appreciate you coming out and to talk with us tonight. It's been a lot of fun.
Yes, it was.
It's always good to have folks in, and we wish you nothing but the best. If there's any way that we can help you as you look to return to the ring, let us know. We'll do anything we can to help any of you guys.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, folks,
keep that in mind.
Yeah, please do. Folks, this has been another episode of Through the Curtain. As before, I'm your host, Tommy T.
Double K.
And we've got Smokey Z behind the scenes. Thanks again, Erica. And we'll see you guys the next time the bell tolls.